Hey guys, welcome to the Music Workflow Academy podcast. Super guest today. We've got one of our biggest guests. We've got Charlotte Devaney on the podcast. So welcome, Charlotte. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, big up, big up. So I'm sure some of the listeners will know about Charlotte. She hit 2.4 million streams in over 170 countries last year on Spotify. So she's absolutely crushing it. Been in the scene, doing bits. Played with Garage Nation, which is where I started raving. So she's been about. She does stuff with Pyro Radio for those that know about the drum and bass. So that's my intro. Let us know a little bit more about yourself, Charlotte, and how things are.
Um, what's happening? Music workflow. How you doing? I'm Charlotte Devaney. So a little bit about me. I am a DJ, artist, producer. I've done acting, modeling, dancing in the past as well. I've worked with Snoop Dogg, plus many, many, many other artists. Lady Leisha, Fat Man Scoop, Riff Raff, Rich the Kid. Had platinum selling single in a few countries, toured the world as a DJ, been in Hollywood films. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Pyro Radio, which I'm doing at the moment. I've got one of the biggest shows on the station, with over 5 million views in the last few months. What else? Yeah. Spotify, yeah, this year had 2.4 million streams.
That's
Music, I've been making music for over 10 years, been DJing for over 10 years. Also worked behind the scenes as a manager. I'm involved in loads of stuff. So yeah.
that's so cool. It must be amazing to reel off all of those accomplishments. It must feel.
Yeah, that's what I can remember anyway. But yeah,
I'm
I've done.
sure.
I've done. I'm doing lots of things, and I've been plugging away for a long time. And yeah,
Amazing.
the industry is. It's not easy, but I love it. That's it.
We'll start with that. Let's get into industry. It's something I like to discuss on
Okay.
the podcast. What are like your favorite things about the industry? What are your least favorite things? How have you had
Um,
any good experiences? Anything bad or just
my
start?
favorite things. We'll start with favorite things because I always like to, start with positive stuff. Um, favorite things is that I get to do a job that I love, and I'm very blessed to be able to do that. As much as I've worked very hard over the years to get where I am, I'm still blessed after being in the industry for a long time to do a job that I love, pay my bills with that. So that's the main plus point. What else? I mean, that was a big answer, really.
That's a good one.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, I love being creative. I love music. And the fact that I get to do it full time is just, yeah, it's a blessing because there's so many people out there that are trying and have to work, second, third jobs to support their passions. So
Congratulations to you. You're one of the very few that's
yeah,
hustled. I'm sure you've had to grow your skill set in multiple different ways and evolve. Like you sound like quite similar to me in some ways. You got your fingers in all the pies, like
yeah.
Hollywood films. You've done modeling. You've done, you do radio. So where can everyone catch your pyro show? What day is that?
So my pyro shows, so I started out on pyro
Wow.
years ago when I first started out in the industry, and over the years I've been on and off the station. And most recently, I've come back on there, and it's all online based. They do play out the shows on the station, so there's not like a set time and day that you can hear me, but basically roughly once a month they will upload a show onto their YouTube channel, Mixcloud, and play it out on the radio, but sometimes twice a month, but usually once a month. And the theme of my show is a lot of energy because that's what I do. And I'm really big into supporting the MC culture. So I always have like one amazing MC that will join me on every show. Um, so yeah. But you can check it out on Pyro's YouTube channel. It's probably the best place to check out the Pyro shows.
Wicked. We'll link that, and any future shows will be sure to post, as I'm sure a lot of our listeners will enjoy that as well as myself. So
And
so
we didn't talk about the cons of the industry because that was actually a question that you
do you
asked.
want to go into it?
Yeah, let's just brush over that real quick. Um, this industry is not easy. Okay, not anyone getting into this industry has to know that. I think that's number one. It's not easy. You have to take a lot of knocks. You have to take a lot of doors being slammed into your face. Um, a lot of egos. Um, So that's the thing I do hate about the industry. And it is something that you have to be very tough. You have to be tough.
Mm,
That's it. You have to you have to have a tough, thick skin. It's not for the faint-hearted, and I've definitely been through a lot over the years to get where I am. So that would be a con, basically.
definitely, I'd wholeheartedly agree on that. Like, I'm quite scared because I can feel as I get bigger, you get more stick, and then it's like,
Mhm.
oh God, you
Yeah.
got
And obviously, like, there's things like trolling as well that you have to deal with,
oh, it's
um,
awful.
which I've dealt with all of my career.
Oh, no.
I think the more love you get, the more hate you get as well, unfortunately. So you just have to take it with a pinch of salt and keep on your path.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, they hate us because they ain't us. It's like,
Yeah.
they're below us. They're only trying to
Yeah,
drink.
I mean, the way you've got to look at it is if anyone that's trolling anybody is clearly not well. So that's it. The keyboard warriors have got the issues of their own, and you've got to look at it.
Yeah.
If you go online and you're hating on somebody else and ripping somebody apart that you don't even know, then
They're very, very low. They're very
yeah,
low.
you're a low. Yeah, you're not a good person. So that's the way I look at it. And sometimes I've seen all kinds of stuff written about me, but I just like whatever. The love outweighs the hate, so it's all good.
That's it. I think, I could deal with 50-50, but I'd rather like an 80-20 split. I have the resilience, but
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I would say mine's like 90% good.
that's it.
You get 10%, you're always going to get idiots
Oh,
that have got something negative to say. But I always feel like when I see negative things said about me, it always sounds quite pony. I'm always like, well, I'm just out here spreading love. Like, I don't really do nothing to anybody. People hating and just sound really sour. So that's it.
that they are. They're very unhappy in their own lives, and I think
Yeah,
that
exactly. So,
trolling is an issue. Obviously, like football players get it, and
mm,
as soon as you get a certain level of status, people start to come after you, and
yeah, they're
that,
jealous, isn't it?
oh
So,
God, exactly. They discredit your success. So if anyone listening is struggling with trolling at first, it's very difficult to deal with, I found. So if you're struggling with anyone like that, just drop me a message, and I'll help. I'm sure I'll give you some advice. If Charlotte's more busy than me, but if she's not busy, maybe my inbox is open to anyone who's struggling with that. Because I remember when I started, there was a lot of that, and at first I didn't know to take it with a pinch of salt. But as soon as I learned that, I kind of relish in it now, and when someone trolls me, it kind of is a bit fucked up.
I
But
just block them instantly. I don't even entertain it. So that's what you've got to do. Just block it and just remember that they're clearly unhappy with their own life. So that's it.
exactly, that's it. I think the block button is
That's
great.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have my block list is huge.
Mine is as well. Trust me. On all platforms.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Block
So
list big.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's probably bigger than my friend list, but
Mm,
so controversial one. You don't have to answer.
mhm.
Who are your favorite MCs? Who are your favorite
Oh
MCs?
God, don't ask me that
Is
because
that the
you know what I
end?
mean? This is the girl that turns MCs into holograms and whatever.
Okay, okay, yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
Are we
okay,
talking about drum and bass, garage, grime? I mean, am I allowed to split into genres or?
yeah. We'll be fair because there's a lot out there, and we're not
Yeah.
discrediting any MCs. Like it's not even fair to compare
No,
to.
I think.
But
I
there
mean,
is,
I'm a
yeah.
multi-bass genre artist. So I play drum and bass, but also play bass and garage and house as well. Um, so I work with a lot of different MCs on my shows and on live sets and stuff. I've got my favorites, but there's so many. But like I guess personal preference. If I'm say drum and bass, I'll probably say GQ would
Ooh,
be like as a personal. If I was going when I go out,
yeah.
I just love his voice. There's also like some really amazing jump up MCs like X-Man, for instance, as like
Oh, I was doing X-Man bars
amazing.
in the shower just
X-Man just yeah, he's amazing, but there's loads, like recently I did a pyro show with Bellyman, who again is amazing,
oh,
amazing lyricist, like just yeah, really sick. There's a lot, it's hard for me actually to say one, but
yeah.
GQ as a personal when I'm out, You know what I mean? If his voice is just
Mm.
legendary, you know
And
what I mean?
if it's not you on the decks, who would you want on the decks with?
Oh, with me,
Yeah, if it was you back to back,
if it
or,
was me,
or yeah, or someone.
I do like Belly Man. I do
Yeah.
like him. I like working with Belly Man, and we've done some amazing sets together. I've done hologram sessions with him. We did a pyro show recently that went off. It's had loads and loads of views. I like Belly Man, and I like Maddie V as a female MC. Me and her work really, really well together. Again, we did a pyro recently that's gone off. It's had like over 3 million views.
Oh,
She's amazing. I
wow.
really enjoy working with Maddie. She's like got so much energy like me. But I've worked with a lot with the hologram sessions as well. I've done over 20 episodes and worked with so many of the MCs, so it's a tough one.
I love that. So tell
But
us.
garage, it's got to be ultra or neat.
Oh, very
They're
cool.
my favorites for garage. Me and Ultra work together a lot, and he's got a lot of energy. So yeah,
That's it. Love the garage scene.
yeah, man, of course.
Oh, so tell us more about these hologram sessions. So you're recreating MCs as holograms. Tell us
Yeah.
more about that.
So hologram session started in lockdown.
Mm,
Um, and it was a bit of an accident, really. Started out with Skibbity, RIP.
oh,
And he was the first hologram first MC I ever hologrammed.
wow,
It
that's
really did start off as a complete accident. And yeah, it's gone on to get crazy amounts of views, and I've worked with like everyone across the spectrum of D&B and bass, and even my recent episode in September with Big Nasty. So that was the first sort of grime one that I'd done. I've done Screw Fizzer, Ira, Neat, Trigger, Belly Mat, just everybody, like pretty much. Um, and yeah, we're taking it into next year with a lot of new episodes as well. And it's a completely fresh concept, nobody's doing it. And yeah, it got a lot of people through lockdown, and yeah, we're continuing the series into next year, basically.
wicked. Gonna love to see that. Sounds like you smashed this year. And yeah, next year gonna be even bigger. So that's good. That's
Hope
positive.
so. Yeah.
So I think for drum and bass, my favorite MC. Do you know about Envy?
No, I don't think I.
Yeah, look into Envy. He's it's just Envy. He used to be called Teabags.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, he was sick. I've seen him
Okay.
do some pretty good shows. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
nice guy. He's my favorite drum and bass. And
Okay.
then grime. I started out as a grime DJ like
Okay.
9 or so years ago, and my first gig, I had a residency in Brighton for this brand, 100% grime. And my,
Okay.
my first gig was a 2 hour warm-up set for Chipmunk.
Oh, wicked.
So this MC, I don't know who he was, but he jumped on the mic like it's supposed to just be like an instrumental set and stuff, and he just started spitting like an hour into my set, and there was a 2 hour set. I was like, oh, this is so sick. So in the grime space, who do you have favorites there, or you're more kind of you guys kind of lean?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not as I'm not a grime DJ, so it's not 100% my scene, but I respect loads of the MCs on the grime scene. I mean, if we're talking about sort of legendary grime artists, of course, Dizzy Rascal, Wiley, Lethal Bizzle, those three would be my favorites, I think, from the
Lethal Bizzle top three. I like that. I like that. That's
yeah, Lethal's sick. Um, all of those three would be my favorite grime. I really like DWE as well.
D double. He's a lovely guy. I like.
Yeah, he's cool. I like D double. But Chip can spit as well. He's sick.
Chips
There's
is
a lot there's a lot of grime acts. Of course, Big Nasty, my boy Big Nasty, who I recently done a hologram session with. He's sick. There's a lot. There's a lot. But yeah, I wanna venture more into the grime scene with holograms and get more grime MCs on board.
Oh, I love that.
Watch this space on that.
Oh, I'm excited to see some stuff there. That would be great. Yeah, big fan of like Skepta. My top three is
Yeah,
probably Skepta, Ice Kid, and Trim. I like Trim a lot as well, but these are
yeah.
all old
I
and
like Skepta. I like Skepta too. Yeah.
him and Jamie were kind of my gateway into grime, and I used to buy those This Is Dubstep CDs, and I think
Yeah.
I think it was This Is Dubstep 3, and they had Bluku Bluku on their D double, and I was listening to it, and I was like, this is hard. Like, it's just a CD of dubstep instrumentals, and then there was a few grime tracks on there. I was like, oh my
Got to
God,
shout out gigs as well. Like gigs
wow,
is another one.
this is goated. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
song with I think I saw with P Diddy on Instagram the other day. I was like, that's
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah, no, gigs is another legend, man.
Yeah, great.
Oh yeah, no, there's so much talent to come out of the UK in general, like across genres. And I'm here for all of it. I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big supporter of MC culture. Um, and I love like vibing with an MC on a set. That's my thing, man. And getting the hype going. And I've worked with so many. It's so hard for me to pick my favorites because there's just so much talent.
Sticky first two questions. Well,
Yeah.
about the
I know when people always ask me that question, I'm like,
can't
oh,
really
that's a hard
say.
one.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many good MCs. Like, got Prez
Yeah,
T, Sweater
there
D.
is. I actually did a pyro session with Vapor the other day, and
Wow.
he's really sick. He's really, really sick. So that's coming out soon. I've got one with Swifter drop in as well. He's really good in the D&B. He's like a new MC that's doing really well. But yeah, there's a lot, man.
Yeah, so many MCs, and like staying relevant is difficult. Like, it's
Yeah, definitely.
the
That's
whole
like that.
thing. We could even go into drill. Like, do you know what I mean? There's drill now. Like,
Yeah,
you got Unknown T, you got Digger
yeah.
D. Central C's killing it at the moment. Like,
Central scene, yeah, Digger D. I like Digger D. I do like him. I think he's cool. He's very quirky. I like him.
Heady One, you know,
Yeah,
he's worked with Drake, like mad crossovers in the UK US scene at the moment. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah. No, there's a lot. So I hope to one day I can get some of those guys on hologram sessions. So
yeah.
watch this space. We shall see.
Let's go. Yeah, we've got plenty of years of holograms. 10 more years of hologram.
Exactly.
I'm sure some sort of it's gonna be amazing. So let's go a little bit less techie on the third question. What are your favorite festivals you've performed at? What favorite festivals, gigs, clubs?
So I had a really good summer of festivals. I played it a lot this summer. I think my favorite ones would be Outlook UK. I did
Oh,
Outlook UK, and that was really good. That was up in Cheshire,
yeah.
and I played on the kicker stage, and it was vibey, man. I actually reposted the video of me there yesterday. That was really good. Creamfields as well. I played at Creamfields. It was a silent disco. Thing is, I'd never played at a silent disco before, and I was like, "There's like 10,000 people in this tent anyway, right?" So what they were doing as well, like people were switching between tents on their headphones. Some of the people in the tent were in one tent, and some of them was in another. So I got on, and I was like, right, I got some work to do here. But basically, I got on the mic, and everyone then switched onto my channel because they could see I was on the mic, and it ended up being one of my favorite sets of the summer. It was amazing. So that was crazy. And my manager was with me, and he was filming, and he said it was the funniest thing ever. He said all he could see, right, there was no music. Every time he took the headphones off, there was no music, and all he could see was me at the front going reacting it and jumping like an absolute maniac at the front with his mic and going crazy to no music, jumping about. He said it was literally the funniest thing he's ever seen. So that was funny. What else? I did loads of festivals this summer. Yeah, like you said, Garage Nation, big up Garage Nation crew. We're playing there again next year. Raver Tots as well. I'm a Raver Tots resident DJ. I play at all of their shows, which is just the most fun of them all, which is it's basically a kids festival, but all the adults come as well. So you get kids and adults raving together at
Oh,
like a big full-on adult size festival. So they're really cool.
love that.
What else did I do? There was loads. Crooked in the Park,
Ooh,
Outlook Croatia as well. I did Outlook Croatia. But yeah, so there's been a lot. There's been a lot. Transmission.
mm,
Yeah,
trans-
it was a really fun summer.
mm. Good, good. That sounds good. So, like at Music Workflow, we teach like DJs and music producers the basics, and I have a lot of reference points. I've played in like caves and like
Mm,
après ski and big festivals. How would you read a crowd with a silent disco? What was that like? Was everyone like in their own like vibe, or what
Do you know
was
what? Like,
you just played?
I just played. I just thought, right. This is silent disco, so they're going to want to sing along with me. So I just got as many sing along anthems as I had. I got on the mic, I got them going. So, anyone that wasn't switched on to my channel was like, oh, I want to know what she's saying. So they all switched on. And by the time we got into about 15 minutes into the set, everybody was switched on. Everybody had their hands in the air. It was amazing. And you
Oh,
would have thought that it was like a full-on rave in there. So that was good, man. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
so yeah, if anyone's tuned in and you've been booked for a silent disco, take Charlotte's advice. Like
Yeah,
play.
you just need to make sure you got all the hands in the air anthem. And yeah, just go for it, man. Just act like it's a normal rave. Just put your headphones on and go.
There you go, there you go. So that's good to know. That's good to know for anyone getting booked for silent discos. So yeah, let's throw it all the way back then. So how did you get into DJing? Were you self-taught? Did someone teach you? How long? It's about 10 years, 10 plus years ago. How?
Yeah, so basically I started out in the industry as a dancer many years ago. We were in probably the most famous, I was in probably the most famous dance troupe in drum and bass ever, really, called the Nani Shakers. And we used to do like mostly drum and bass, but we also did garage and a few other things as well. But in drum and bass, we were big. So that was my entrance point, and I met a lot of DJs um, through that, and decided that I wanted to start DJing very early on, actually. So I got my first pair of 1210s and started practicing way back before I even played in clubs, way, way, way back. Um, and then my partner, Fabio and Groove Rider, he taught me to DJ. I also had lessons from Randall, Mark from Rat Pack, a couple of other legends that helped me along the way.
Wow.
And yeah, so like Fabio was the one that really taught me though. And I think like when I was learning to DJ though, it wasn't like it is now. It was really hard. You had to really learn to beat match. There wasn't no sync or anything like that. And I was it took me a long time to learn. And not just that, like it took me a long time to have the courage to play in clubs as well. It wasn't just like learning to actually mix. It was having the confidence and learning the trade. That took time. Um, one thing I think I've always been good at is selecting, and I'm a big muso, so like I've always known how to get people going, whether I was a shit mixer or whatever at the start. I've always known how to get the crowd hype. Um, but yeah, that's how it started. And actually, like when I first started DJing, I was playing. I sort of started my journey in the West End, really, and I was playing like residencies all over the West End, doing long sets, sometimes playing all night. But I was also lucky enough to be in a sort of first wave of female DJs to come out of the UK um, at the time, and so I was traveling a lot. Because I started out playing like more on the hip hop and EDM side of things and house. So yeah, I was in a first wave and so we were going to like Asia and India and Europe a lot at the start. So I was lucky on that respect. But at the same time I was putting in the hours working in the West End, doing long ass sets, and that's where I really did learn my trade, which I think sometimes that's missing from DJs these days. I think like sometimes DJs will get thrown in and just like they get big gigs very, very early.
You do see that the ones that burn a
Yeah.
bit too bright straight away and then kind of
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I'm grateful for the rate of my growth because it's been like
Yeah. I
like
think I think it's important to have the struggles and
oh
put
yeah,
the DJ for free and do the struggle, because sometimes I think like if you don't, then you can become too complacent and not appreciate it when you do get the good stuff happening.
exactly. Like when I started mixing, obviously I did my grime, that went well, and then I kind of went into jump up, started doing squat raves and stuff,
Mm.
and all my mixes were doing really well straight away, and I was like, oh fuck, like what did I do that was like that made it go viral? And I just had a big ego for like the first 2 years of my career, which was terrible, and
Yeah.
I did a few gigs with like Hazard, Mefjus, and then after a while I was like, don't really know if drum and bass is the right scene for me. So I went to house, and I've just had drum and bass in the back of my mind like since then. So just working on my production, making some jump up jungle track stuff like that, and
I mean,
hopefully, but
drum and bass is like, it's where I came from, and obviously, like with my partner being Fabio for so many years, he created the scene. So I've always had it like it's in my blood, it's around me. Um, and being a dancer in the scene so many years ago, I met everybody, and it's like a family. Um, so it's always been there, but I haven't always played it. Until lockdown, I wasn't playing full drum and bass sets really. I was, yeah, it sort of just happened really in lockdown. So yeah, I've really got back into playing D&B, and I've got some D&B releases coming out next year. And
sick.
very naturally, I've got a quite a big D&B following again now. So, but the scene's amazing. There's not another scene like it. It really is a family thing. Um, when I started out, it was all about peace, love, and unity, and that's how I try and live my life, really.
Love that, love that. Um, yeah, wicked. I remember seeing videos of of how Fabio started, with the vinyl and stuff, and it was more difficult back then, and the focus was more kind of on the selection of tracks. I really like that. I'd say
Hmm.
like, what we teach at Music Workflow is like it's selection's like 80% of
It is
DJing. It's so important. It's more about the tracks that you play, what order
100%.
you play them in, than
Yeah, like
the technical.
I personally, as a DJ, I mean, it's down to the individual, obviously, but personally, I'm all about selection. I don't go in for any mad fancy like double drop in or anything like that. Really, I'm just all about clean mixing and amazing music selection. That's me. And innovative um, selections. Different. I like to mix the old with the new.
Mm,
And I think that's because I come from back in the day, when I was into D&B, when I was heavily into it and on the scene all the time. I brought those tunes in to today, and I mix it up with like some of the new bangers, and there is some amazing music around,
mm, mm.
some really sick tunes. So that's how I like to play. Um,
I
yeah,
think I think the scene is starting to become a bit easier to break into since this whole TikTok. Like you've got people making one track and coming out of nowhere. Like Unglued made like one tune and then he just came on the radar. Then you got that Lude guy who made one tune,
yeah.
and people like
No,
got.
definitely. I mean, if you're lucky enough to, I mean, TikTok is it's hard, isn't it? So, and I find on TikTok as well, like sometimes I'll get a video that will go completely crazy. Like some of my pyro sessions, I've had like 1 million+ views on.
Oh,
But then sometimes you put a video up and you get nothing, and you're like, oh, this is weird. TikTok's a
yeah,
funny animal, I think.
it
So I
is
think you've got to be lucky on TikTok for a tune to get big. I think everyone's trying it, aren't they? So.
literally it's just like roll the dice, see what happens. It's the algorithm, and like you can.
Yeah, it's all about algorithms. You know what I mean? Because you've got to be so consistent with it. So if you're not consistent and you haven't got one niche on there, I think it's quite hard.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard to keep up with it, really. But yeah, TikTok is one of the reasons I think drum and bass has had huge
Mm.
not resurgence because it's always been big. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Drum and bass has never not been big, but I think it's bigger than it's ever been right now. And
Oh,
like there are people from outside of the scene that are getting into it. So it's a highly competitive market as well at the moment.
oh yeah. I
So
feel yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, it's not easy. It's by far not easy. Do you know what I mean? To get into.
But it's got a very, very loyal fan base.
Yes. Yes.
Hardcore fan base. It's been going since the 90s, like with the jungle era. And
Yeah,
then
and I'm finding like as I've started like since lockdown, since I've started playing full D&B sets again, I've got new fans, but I've also got all the people that remember me from the Nani Shaker days back
Wow.
in the day. So yeah, and it's a very strong force, drum and bass. So I think if you're playing drum and bass, like me, I play, like I say, I play multi-genre. I do play garage and bass and stuff as well, and house. But the drum and bass scene is a strong force.
Definitely.
Fans are very passionate. They're very
Yeah.
passionate. So I've
Yeah.
got to shout out the DMB massive man, because yeah,
Shout out all the
they're
jungle.
nice. They're a nice bunch.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can't really match the energy of it as well. Like
No,
it's so high energy and
yeah,
it's all different
yeah.
songs and those just tick all different boxes, don't they? You know, you've got
I think for what I do as well, I'm a very high energy DJ. I come from a performance background. I started, like I said, I started out as a dancer. I've been trained. I'm a trained actress. I'm trained in everything on that level. So, I put that into my performances. It's a very kind of natural thing for me. And I think like drum and bass, it just sends me into the next level of energy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just crazy.
I
Yeah.
do I do love a bit of garage though. Garage is good
I love
and
garage. I love
you,
garage.
yeah, you can
I
mix
love garage. I love bass line. I love house. You
real
know, but I love all different types of music. I enjoy playing all different types of music. So I would never pigeonhole myself as one genre, but the bass is where my heart is.
oh, love that. So so like emerging as a DJ, how long did it take you to get your first gig and what challenges did you face? And as you kind of grew bigger and bigger, what were like the key kind of things that made you successful?
Um, as I said before, I started out in sort of London's West End, and I was playing like regular slots there. But my first ever gig, as such, like in a club, was actually in Greece.
Wow.
So I used to have a MySpace page back in the day, and that was the only at that time that was the only social media site. And I had on my page that I was a DJ because I was on the radio at the time. I was on Invincible Radio, and I was actually on Pyro. I used to do spot shows on Pyro. And a promoter from Greece, who I'm still friends with to this day, and I actually did a gig for him in the summer, just gone. Um, he saw that I was a DJ, and like as I was saying, like back then, we're talking like it was about 07, 08. There wasn't that many female DJs around. Especially in like the sort of commercial scene, like the hip hop and EDM and house scene, there wasn't really that many female DJs. So he saw that I was a DJ on the radio at the time. And he was like, "Oh, I've got this club in Athens and it's a really amazing." And at the time I was playing drum and bass on the radio. So that's what I started playing, but I was too scared to play in clubs, and I was always like, oh, just too nervous. And I'd been offered a few gigs, but never wanted to do it. I was too, because at the time it was vinyl, there wasn't even CDJs, so I was like too nervous. I didn't feel confident enough. So then this promoter, his name's Stavros. He was like, look, I run like the best hip hop night in Athens, and it's in this amazing club by the sea. Do you want to come and play? And so I was like, yeah, okay. And, I've got these dancers that I work with as well. Obviously having the dance group originally, and, they dance alongside me when I DJ. And again, there was nobody doing that at the time either. I was sort of one of the first people that I ever knew of to have a DJ dancer combo thing going on. So yeah, we went out to Athens and we did the show. I think it was July 2007. And yeah, that was it really. That was the first gig. But that was a lucky thing that I got. But aside from that, I grafted, I
Wow.
grafted in the West End. I was playing up there a few nights a week, long sets, in between being able to travel a lot as well,
There you go. There you
That
go.
was that was how it started. So yeah, I've had a very multi-genre career so far.
Love
But it's all come right back full circle to the drum and bass scene where it first started for me, like
that.
sort of 20 years ago, basically. So yeah.
Amazing. Can't get away from the drum and bass.
Oh man, right. I think once you're in the family, and I've said this countless times before, once you're in the family, that's it. You know what I mean? You can go off and do other things, you can go off and play other genres, you can go off and explore other things, but the family's always there. And it is like that for me.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Very, very inclusive community that's yeah,
Mhm.
positive and all that. So yeah, that again, touching on what you just said, like something that some of our students struggle with is that initial confidence. You know, they get like stage fright just getting on
Yeah.
the stage. There's
It
some
happens at
yeah,
first, you know. It does take a few years to kind of become confident.
yeah, yeah,
You know, it does, you know, nothing is instant. And I think like that's the problem with the, today because of social media and because there are so many artists that come in and out so quickly. Like it's like, you know, they'll get their 5 minutes of fame and then nobody hears from them again. And it does happen a lot more than it used to. So people are not doing the graft and having to work their way up. They get this explosion of popularity, fame, whatever. So you don't do the years of learning the trade and getting through the kind of nervous side of things. Because, mate, when I first started, you know, I used to have a drink every set to go on stage. I was always so nervous, but it went after a while, you know.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
that's something we can
it's something that you have to just get through. It's the process, you know.
the process. Yeah, don't look for any shortcuts. Like obviously,
No.
you can work with music workflow and get your skills up to scratch, but it'll save you
Yeah.
time.
No, 100%. You getting your skills right, and then being a professional DJ is two completely different things. You know,
Traversing, yeah,
you can
traversing.
learn to mix, but becoming an entertainer and becoming a confident entertainer and professional artist is, you know, it takes time.
Yeah,
There's no shortcuts to that. You can shortcut getting success from music or whatever, online numbers or whatever, but you know, that experience of being good at what you do and being confident is something that you just have to graft that, unfortunately. That's it.
exactly. But once you're there, once the hard work's done,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you're got to put
And
the hard.
some people never get over it. This is the thing. It really is a personal thing. Like everybody's different.
Yeah,
But the advice I would always give is just to not put pressure on yourself and just enjoy the process, you know?
mm, that's great advice. There you go, guys. Take anything away from that, no pressure, and yeah, enjoy the process. That's the secret, really. Because then, if you're enjoying the process, and you're getting better over time, and you're
Yeah, I
enjoying.
think as well, like, and I had this said to me a few years ago, and it's so true, and I always say this to people, is that sometimes, yeah, when you've got a goal and a dream, sometimes the journey is more fun sometimes than the actually getting there. Not
Yeah,
always, but you know, you have to always enjoy the journey. You might feel like it's a struggle, but it's part of it, you know. And sometimes it is really fun, you know, working hard towards something that you really want and all the ups and downs along the way, you know. You have to enjoy the process because it's so hard, you know. So that's
exactly.
something to really take on board.
Exactly. Yeah, I've heard that quite a lot. Like, just to repeat what you said, like, get the journey, and then getting there. Like a lot of people say they achieve their goal and then they're like, oh, now what? Like, I've achieved everything.
Yeah, I feel exactly like that. Like, okay, I've done all these things. Yeah, I still feel like I've got so much more to do, so much more to prove, so many things that I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, yeah,
It's a great feeling though, isn't it? It's so fulfilling doing what you love as a job, and when you do achieve a goal that you've been working years for, it's like such a relief.
yeah,
Like,
it is. But you can always feel like you can do more. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
you do have to pat yourself on the back. That's another thing I think is really important is to pat yourself on the back and you know, enjoy good things that happen. Enjoy success.
definitely celebrate like it's yeah, setting all these crazy goals. Like even if you get close, celebrate that and go again. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know,
And not always things don't always work out as well. This is the other thing. Like 95% of things might not work out. But it's that 5% that you keep going for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You might get 100 no's, but then the next one might be a yes, and then
Exactly.
So never give up, basically, and keep grafting. It's the age-old formula of success. Is just put in the hard work and don't stop, basically.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. How about tour? Any fun tour stories? Any fun going on tour? Like
Oh,
having.
loads of stories. What do you want to know?
Well, let's hear one of your some of your best ones, and then yeah, that would be good. Go on.
I'm not sure they.
Is it?
I'm not sure. It depends on what you want to know. I mean,
We might have to talk about them off the top.
there's been a lot of crazy ones, to be honest. um, all right, I'll tell you about my first tour in China back in 2009, right? I went to China for the first time. And I went with two dancers. As I said, I started the first one of the first that I know of sort of DJ and dancers kind of show. And we went to China back in 2009. And I'd been to Asia a few times, but I'd never been to China. And it was definitely an experience to say the least. I lost about a stone and a half during that 2 weeks. It was like the food was like interesting to say the least. It was, yeah, at that time. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen food quite like it. Like there was fried hamster
Oh
and
my god!
crab's ovaries and brains and it yeah it was a very it was a crazy trip that was it was crazy.
Oh, crab ovaries. There you go.
uh,
If you go to China, you know what to get to eat now as well.
yeah, China's a very interesting place, I've got to say. um and we got stared at a lot out there, you
Oh,
know. I don't think they're a lot of the places we went to, they're not really used to seeing like foreign people of any color.
oh my god.
That was interesting. But I've done a lot of extensive touring of Asia, so I've had some good times out in Asia, in Bali, Malaysia.
Okay.
Um, yeah, a lot of drunken tours, lot of crazy times. You know what I mean? Um,
Always good, isn't it?
but yeah, that first China tour was just insane. Like I just remember looking at the menus on some of the first nights we went out for dinner. I was just like, oh my god, you know, I'd never seen anything like that before. And I'm a veggie vegan as well.
Oh my
And I remember like asking for like, you know, like I'd order vegetables and it'd come like stuffed with ham. Everything was that.
god.
It was,
Around.
I mean, I think probably things have changed quite a lot since then. You know, it's a long time ago now. So, but yeah, so that was funny.
That's funny. Yeah, I've heard some stories about China.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, I've had some great times over the years,
oh,
touring. Obviously since COVID, haven't been touring so much, you know, haven't done as many abroad gigs.
mm. Yeah, it's been weird, hasn't it? But you've adapted. You've got your hologram thing, which is really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's starting to open up now. Like I'm going to India for New Year's Eve.
Oh, wicked. That's so.
Yeah, so that's going to be cool, and that's the first time I've been to Asia since the pandemic because
Yeah,
it's kind of starting to open up over there again, and I'm looking to make some more memories. So watch this space.
watch the space. And anything about being a female in industry? How's that been? Has that been positive mostly?
No, that's quite a lengthy subject.
Oh,
You know, I have obviously been in the industry a long time and have gone from like being around when there wasn't, if we're just talking about DJs, right? I've gone from being one of a few female DJs to
nice.
now being in an industry where there's a lot more, which is great. So I've always been a big advocate for more females in the industry, especially now I'm sort of more strictly bass music, getting more women in the bass music arena, because I feel like there isn't, still is not enough. I think things are getting a lot better. I think they're a lot better, but I still think it's still very male dominated, you know. So I've had my struggles, put it that way. I've definitely had my struggles. A woman in business as well, being a woman, like I said, I work behind the scenes as well, and it's hard, you know. It's definitely harder being a woman. And I would love to see in the coming years women not just booked for tokenism. It's not in every case it happens, but it does happen a lot. So
Yeah.
I would love to see that, less of that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more women headliners.
Yeah.
Um, I'd love to see less women at the bottom of the lineups and moved up a bit, and given a bit more love and respect for who they are, not just because they're women.
There
I'd
you
love to
go.
see that.
That's what
But
we're working towards.
yeah, no, I've definitely had my struggles.
Mm.
Definitely, it's not easy.
Mm.
I'd say the garage and bass scene is even worse than drum and bass scene. I'd say like they have a lot of work to do
Jeez.
with regards to booking more women.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go, garage and bass scene. All
Yeah.
right. And then, yeah, just to wrap things up, have you got any other advice for like upcoming DJs, producers, anything else you haven't said that you like to splash?
Um, just be patient.
Mm.
Work on your craft. Don't expect everything straight away, you know.
Mm.
Don't get disheartened if things don't happen straight away.
Love that.
And, be true to your craft. And I think if you are and you really enjoy what you're doing, then you will have success. But it's tough, and enjoy the process, as I said.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Lovely. All right. So yeah, it's been lovely having you on as a guest. Like that was a wicked podcast. So maybe we'll have you on again in the future. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I'll leave all of Charlotte's links down below for her radio shows, TikTok, Instagram, and anything else she wants me to include. I'll add that in there as well.
Yes.
So thanks for listening, guys. We're signing out now. So we'll
Yeah,
see
big
you
up.
in
Thank
the
you,
next
everybody.
episode.